So we were recently working with one of our clients here at Fierce. We were helping them to map their leadership competencies to our suite of conversation models that they offer in their organization. So as I was thinking about that work recently, it made me wonder if there's a way to encapsulate in really broad terms that are easy to recall all the tools that Fierce offers leaders at every level in every organization. And so we tend to call it the anatomy of a fierce leader, which I think actually has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Sounds like something to aspire to. Also, because I tend to think of things, strategically in large buckets, and also because I've long been a fan of three things, the simplicity of that, which, nerd alert, I think comes from my undergrad years where I learned the power of the Ciceronian triplet. There are three buckets that I'm thinking of that the fierce leader emphasizes or embodies. They're the self, there's others, and then there's the organization or the strategic, big picture level of things. I also tend to think in pictures or diagrams. And, so imagine that there's this series of concentric circles, right? And they start with you at the core, the leader at the core, and then they ripple out from there, So to begin to think about this, I invite you to just do a self-assessment, right? What are your strengths? What are you known for in your organization? What are your superpowers, right? And then at the other end of the spectrum, think about those things that maybe are part of your development plan, right? If you're an ever-evolving, ever-growing leader, what are those things you'd really like to build, those underdeveloped muscles, if you will? Among the key attributes of a fierce leader, we tend to look at them with exhibiting high resilience in an ever-changing world, They've got high integrity. They tend to be trusted, high in trustworthiness. And they also tend to model compassionate accountability for those around them with, high emotional intelligence. They're really self-aware, and they've got a passion for personal and team development. They're always growing, always developing, and always working to develop those around them. We love working with leaders at every level to build, flex, and stretch those muscles. And we tend to look to, at this level, for the self, the fierce foundation, which is where it all begins. We've also got our accountability model that seems to support this work, to start working with yourself, and our coaching model to work with, yourself and those around you as you're beginning to build your muscle as a leader, or strengthening your muscle as a leader. And there's also our delegation model, which quite frankly, we tend to think of as underutilized way to develop those around you. And by the way, create some space for you to grow and develop and take on some more things. At that next circle out, emanating from you at the core, think about others, right? Your team, the people you work most closely with, your peers, your supervisor. Think about how effective is your work with them. A fierce leader practices inclusiveness, and they tend to leverage the diversity in all its forms. They also create psychologically safe environments that really foster risk-taking and vulnerability, both of which are essential for the resilience necessary for innovating. And they tend to collaborate with others to make the best possible decisions. They don't shy away from the big decisions. They tend to welcome them because of the way that they leverage their connections with those around them. Many of our models support leaders' development at this level, including fierce resilience, and our team model, which we tend to refer to as a beach ball model, because if you imagine the beach ball with all of those different stripes, which tends to represent the different perspectives of all of the people in the organization, or at least on your team. And so that's you, fierce leader, at that team level. And then the furthest circle out of those concentric circles emanating from you at the core is the strategic level, the organizational level, right? We found that when a leader can pull together and practice all of our conversational models, they're already at their fingertips in their leadership toolbox, if you will. They're fully equipped to lead change with transparency. And they really are great at developing high-performing teams. They're seen as organizational rock stars, quite frankly, who bring their company's vision, mission, and strategy to life in everything that they do. So have I just described you? Because if I have, sincerely, congratulations on being a fierce leader. If not, and it sounds like the kind of leader you aspire to be, please reach out. We'd love to help you get where you want to go.